Hello everyone. Um, Today's video is going to be on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Just got done watching it on Friday, and it was really good. It's topical right now, so I thought I would talk about it. But first, some updates on me. My first appointment for laser treatment on my face is this coming Thursday at 10:30, so I'm very happy about that. Um, it's past time to get this done, so yeah, I'm very pleased with that. So, um, band thing's doing fairly well. Hopefully, I have some videos to post of us soon. Um, but yeah, that's going decent. Pardon me. So overall, it's been going pretty well. So anyway, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I really liked it. Yeah, I thought that it did everything it could do with what it was. Um, I mean, there are always going to be people who say it went too far dealing with, real life issues, real life racial issues, or political issues. And there are always going to be people who say it didn't go far enough. I mean, in a world of over 7.5 billion people, um, in a country of over 330 million people, you're not going to please everybody. In fact, you're probably not going to please most people. You're just going to, at best, you can hope for a plurality, not a majority. But overall, I was extremely happy with it. Um, obviously, I'm coming from the perspective of, to me, these are kid shows. And yes, I know there's some swearing in it, but it's fairly tame. And, our standards for, you know, swearing are a bit different from other countries. Um, so, I mean, those are cultural standards, and ours are fairly puritanical, but they've been loosening um, through the decades. So, but I mean, there's no f bombs, there's no blood for the most part, and if there is blood, you don't really see how the blood got there. Specifically talking about episode 4, I believe. Yeah, episode 4, where John Walker kills somebody with the shield. And honestly, even the blood splatter wasn't. It was. It wasn't real blood splatter. I mean, it was what I call cartoon blood splatter. It was just really contained to one area of the shield, and whereas an actual, if you're really beating the crap out of somebody with a shield or any blunt object, blood's going to fly up on you. It's going to fly everywhere. You're going to be covered in it. You know, so even that, it's fairly tame. So based going in with the mindset that this is ultimately for kids, and yes, it's not Dora the Explorer. Like I said in my last video about how adults are killing children's entertainment, there's a wide variety in for children. Okay, so just because it's not for 5-year-olds doesn't mean it's fully adult. Okay, so but I thought it dealt with all the themes that it was going for very well. I thought the dialogue was extremely well written. Um, for the final episode, I could have done with like probably 15 minutes less of action and about 15 more minutes of character building. Um, but that's a personal preference. I know some people feel the exact opposite, where they would prefer less talking, less character building, and just more complete action, 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 action all the time. Um, but I think in dealing with racial issues, it did so well. It was never felt heavy-handed or cliched. Um, you know, Sam not being able to get a loan to fix up his parents' boat, to being harassed by the cops. Um, that all felt natural. I mean, we know it's natural because we see it on the news all the time. Um, prob, you know, Probably the most unnatural thing about it was that he wasn't shot. But and the character of Isaiah Bradley, I thought he was beautiful. His lines were just poetic. Not literal poetry, but I mean, he gave the series a real gravitas, and his perspective had to be heard. The perspective of a certain generation of African Americans who just feel this country is completely irredeemable. That people with my skin complexion are completely irredeemable. Which, if I was in his place, I'd feel the same way. Heck, even not being in his place, being trans, whenever my cis friends tell me they accept me, there's always a voice in, do they really? 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 So I always kind of have my guard up, and I always giving them like, eh. So, yeah, given everything he went through, everything that generation went through, I can understand how they can look at somebody who looks like me and be like, nah, man, fuck you. So, I don't like it, but I accept it because, those are honest feelings. So, and even the, final speech near the end where Sam's on the bridge after just, stopping, the Flag Smashers. And he's giving it, even that didn't feel overdone. It didn't feel preachy. It didn't feel unwarranted. It didn't feel, to me, I can only speak for me, it felt right in the moment. And let's face it, who wouldn't want to talk to senators or representatives that way? So I thought that was really good. One thing I found interesting is how quick some people were to forgive and justify John Walker, but could not care about Carly. And I liked the character of Carly Morgenthau. I understood the character of Carly Morgenthau. I could have been a Carly Morgenthau. Heck, one of the real debates I was having in the 2020 election cycle was, should I try to, if Trump wins, should I try to sneak out of the country, or should I go get a gun and become a guerrilla? You know, so I liked her story because it shows how people do get radicalized. Um, you know, she and the others were kicked out of their homes. They were put on the street, put in refugee camps against their will. They felt unlistened to, you know, and that over time can make people get mad, and rightfully so, but then it's like nobody's listening, we gotta step it up a notch. So I completely understood where she's coming from. You know? I mean, heck, you see all the time here in American politics. I mean, the right wing during pretty much all of Obama's administration were, walking around with their little penis compensators and talking about, the tree of liberty must be watered with the blood of tyrants and, all this and that. And having a lot of friends and following people who are, left wing radical to left wing revolutionary, they're like, burn it all down. It's not worth saving. So yeah, I get it. We see it every day. Normal people who are radicalized, because they don't feel listened to. They don't feel like they matter, and it's only through violence that they feel like they have a voice. So I totally get Carly, and I thought the actress who played her did an amazing job, and I fell for her. And when she died, I was like, I didn't want her to die. I liked her, But the fact that, people were like, well, she's a terrorist, or she's a villain because she did this, that, and the other thing, but then it's like, yeah, he killed somebody, but the circumstances. Well, their circumstances are what Carly and the Flag Smashers were doing. So their circumstances don't matter, but his do. I mean, come on now. So I found that interesting. I don't know if that's sexist, if that's just sexism coming through, defend the man's, burn the witch, or if it's more of a nationalist reaction where he's a decorated soldier, war veteran, so we always have to give him the benefit of the doubt. She's a foreigner, who's for no borders, one world. So obviously we gotta crucify her. So that's interesting. That's a very interesting moment. I wish they would change Bucky's superhero name just to White Wolf. That kind of seemed to be where they were going with the way they kept bringing it up. But they're still calling him the Winter Soldier. I guess that's because that's what he's called in the comic book still. But he doesn't like that. He doesn't identify that. So changing his name to White Wolf, I think, would be better. But no, it's the acting in this all top rate. Anthony Mackie did a great job. Sebastian Stan did a great job. The only real big problem I had was the reveal of Sharon Carter as the power broker, simply because when she was helping Sam and Bucky and Madripoor, she was killing, the guards or the hit squad, who were trying to protect the scientist guy who recreated the super soldier serum. So she was essentially killing her own men. So it doesn't make sense. If, you know, why put on the show? It That seemed like a very false note, and I wish they wouldn't have done it. But at the same time, nothing they did in Falcon and the Winter Soldier will ever match my disappointment with them making Evan Peters Ralph Boner. A dick joke is not worth that much wasted opportunity. And like I said in my review, I get it. I get where Feige was coming from, and had this been the 80s or the 90s, 70s, 80s, 90s, something like that, that cameo and that reveal would have made perfect sense, but it's not the 70s, 80s, or 90s anymore. And finally, bringing up WandaVision. Between the two shows, I much prefer Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The first 4 episodes, I don't care about. I really don't. I don't care about the sitcom stuff at all. It's dumb. It's stupid. To me. I can only speak for myself. But I don't care about it. And it was only to like the last... It was really only to Evan Peters showed up that I actually cared about the show. And then when it kind of became clear that it wasn't Quicksilver, I just kind of like lost interest. I still think it was a decent show. I thought it had a good ending, but I'm just kind of meh on it. I'm not going to go back and rewatch it. It's like, been there, done that, over. But I can see myself going back and rewatching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I just like the more realistic take. I like the fact that if you change a few things here and there, you could actually have this take place in real life. So I like kind of like the grittier, more realistic tone. How I like how it talks about big social issues, but it also takes those issues and shows you how they impact individual people. How it kind of links the macro and the micro. So yeah, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's well written, well acted, good themes. It's something you can watch with your kids and then have some very deep and powerful discussions with afterwards. And you can also have fun with it. It's still an action adventure show, so you can still have fun. So yeah, overall, 8 out of 10. Somewhere around a B plus, A minus. Really good. Recommend it. All right, everybody. Later.